Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, consciousness is true. We can only say something is true when it's unchanging in nature. If it's changing, then we cannot say it's true. And consciousness is that unchanging in nature. It is constant, it is unborn and undying. And you are that. You are consciousness. The nature of you is consciousness, and the nature of the consciousness is conscious, empty. Since your childhood to till now, there is something constant in you. Whatever you have gone through in your life, that part of you was conscious of your experience and now is conscious and will be conscious of the future experience. So, that part of you, notice all the experience that you have gone through. Definitely, your experience has turned into ideas. Every experience turned into ideas right away. Now, all you experience in you is the belief, is the preference, and all ideas, belief, or preference is simply the mind. Now, who you are is the mind. When you identify yourself with your experience and you build up on that experience, you're identifying yourself. You're identifying your with your experience because that experience is providing you certain flow, certain comfort, certain fun. So you already have that. You identify yourself with something, and that something is the mind, and that mind is the past experience. Even you have bought so much upgrade to that identification, but still the experience, still the mind. And who you are is not the mind. Who you are is the consciousness, which experience everything happening in you. So you are the background that sees all experience come and go. But you have forgotten who you are, and you have become the mind. An enlightenment journey is about witnessing the mind and reversing the mind to go to no mind. And no mind is who you are. No mind. That's the path that we need to head back. Remember what I said? The nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. And reversing the mind to no mind is empty. That's the journey we need to make it, to reclaim who you are as consciousness. But right now, you are identify yourself with the mind so heavily that mind is the reality. And by hearing this, there is a part of you knows that you are ingrained with the mind. And what is that part that is conscious of your ingrained attitude in you? The conscious part of you is conscious of you are attached to the identification. It's right now, it's present already. And true freedom from the mind, freedom from the fear, is actualizing who you are. What I'm saying right now has already turned into idea in you, isn't it? I am saying that the background that which sees you are attached. You recognize you are attached to certain things. The background that sees you are attached is the true nature of you. And when you hear this has already turned into another idea in you. It makes sense, but this what you hear is an idea now. An idea is part of the mind. It becomes the mind. So when you hear you are consciousness, the nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty, doesn't do anything. It doesn't dissolve your fear, doesn't dissolve your conflict, doesn't dissolve the drama, doesn't end your suffering because of the conditioning. The conditioning is so ingrained in us that even we hear things about the truth, doesn't do anything until we start to do the work of reversing the mind. Reversing the mind is the only way. From my experience, reversing the mind is the only way to go to no mind. And the process to wake up to the truth of who you are, to reclaim who you are, you have to witness yourself. You got to turn the awareness back to yourself, and you have to watch yourself. That is the start of this spiritual journey, being aware of yourself. When you're being aware of yourself, then you can catch your mind, the ripples of the mind, resurfacing. And then we have to, witness the mind and trace the mind backward. So this waking up to the truth of who you are, or reclaiming who you are, comes with 3 simple steps. Turning the awareness back to yourself, dismantling the mind, and asking yourself, who am I? 3 steps is enough to wake you up to the truth of who you are, to reclaim the unchanging nature in you. So, reversing the mind. So, direct approach in reversing the mind is looking into your fear directly, or looking into your attachment. You're attached because of the fear of something, which is a fear of losing the support. That's why there's attachment. So you can look into your attachment. Definitely there are attachment. Everyone is attached to something. So there's attachment, there's a fear. So you can, work on either aspect of your life. So if you want to work on attachment, you ask yourself, why am I attached to whatever you attach? And when you ask why, there should be the answer when you ask why. Because you are attached. There's a reason for your attachment. Okay? So when you ask why, there should be the answer for your inquiry. So why am I attached? Stay with that. Whatever you are attached, you see that already. When you ask, why am I attached? There is the answer. Now, when you see the answer, then you ask, why do I have that? Or why is that important? Then when you ask why to your answer, you are using your answer to deepen your self-inquiry, to deepening in reversing the mind. So no matter what answer resurface when you ask why, use the answer to keep reversing the mind. And this way you can figure out the root cause of your attachment. The root itself is an ingrained belief, the conditioning in you. And when you see the root, then you have to dismantle the root as well. Dismantling the root is the challenging part of the self-inquiry. The surface tracing back the mind is not so tough. Working on the root is the tough. Why? Because enlightenment journey, spiritual awakening is about letting go of the identification. And the ingrained root is is, it's attachment. It's an ingrained conditioning. And we have to loosen that conditioning to figure out who we are. If you hold on to the conditioning, then how can we figure out who we are? Those conditioning is the layers, is the mind. To figure out who we are, all the layers must go. And working on the root conditioning is tough. Everything is happening right now is from the root itself. And because of that root, we are struggling. There's so much conflict, so much fear, so much drama, so much suffering is present in life because moving from that root. Definitely there's fun in life, but beside the fun there's a struggle because of moving from the root, false root. There is no true root either, because who you are is the emptiness, so there's no root to attach to. But we are attached to the root, and moving from the root making us struggle. So we have to let go of the root. Now, letting go of the root already creates fear in you, isn't it? How can I let go of the root, that root I have built up for decades and decades? How can I let go of that? This letting go of the root is a paradoxical approach to your lifestyle. What you're right now is the root, and protecting the root and upgrading on the surface. And letting go of that root is fearful. Especially your ego self feels the fear. Is threatened by letting go of this root, and the ego self will do everything to make you not to let go of the root, because letting go of the root means the annihilation, destruction of the ego, and that's the end of the ego. So the ego will play its part to maintain the root, maintain the ego, and the ego self is the mind, is the preference, is the belief. So if you hold on to the root, hold on to belief, you are ignoring who you are. And if you're thinking to let go, there is a fear and fear of uncertainty, and the ego plays parts to protect the letting go of the identification. However, again, if you work on your root in dismantling, then if you're thorough, you will see the truth of who you are. You will reclaim who you are. So this is where the point that you go in, or you fall back into your habitual pattern, mundane lifestyle. So here's another thing. When we hear that it's about letting go of everything, people get scared right away, and they don't want to be part of the inquiry practice. But here's the thing: when you hear you have to let go of the root, when you hear it, notice the fear starts to resurface in you. When the fear starts to resurface in you, now you dismantle your fear. Ask yourself, why do I have the fear of letting go? And then that inquiry will deepen. That inquiry will reverse the mind. Notice, the journey to see who you are is reversing the mind. You started with your attachment. Now you see the fear. Now you ask yourself, why do I have a hard time letting go? Why I'm scared to let go? Then that why is going to give you the reason to hold on tight to your identification. And no matter what answer will resurface in you, you use the answer to reverse the mind. No matter what answer comes in, by asking why I'm scared to let go, Why do I have a hard time to let go? You use the answer and keep going back until you are until you go to the place of no mind. Now, there are a lot of aspects in our lives that we are attached. So you have to investigate all of your attachment, all your fear, and also, how the fear triggers you to bring certain attitudes in you. You have to investigate that. You have to be thorough in investigating your mind. Whatever resurfaces in your mind, you have to ask, why do I have that? And that's the way to trace the mind backward. And if you're unbiased, if you're thorough in dismantling the mind, then you will be, that thoroughness will prepare you to understand the nature of the mind. You will understand the nature of the mind is changing. It comes from the experience. You will see that. But seeing that is not enough. You have to drop the mind. Dropping the mind only can happen when you prepare yourself in such a way that you're so thorough, unbiased, and when you have done enough work in dismantling your mind from all aspects of your life, and when you ask yourself, who am I? Then that's where you're going to click. That's where you're going to see that the ego cannot comprehend the truth, and that's where the ego self gives up. That's the point where you catch yourself. That's where you catch yourself, the ripples of the mind. Still want to come and participate. But this is just an idea. This doesn't make sense to you until you are thorough in dismantling the mind. Only being thorough in dismantling the mind makes you recognize that final click. When that happens, you are enlightened. And that's the end of the spiritual journey. And when the spiritual journey ends, then the new life begins. The life that is without the mental conflict, without the fear. The whole journey teaches you are awareness. That awareness is enough to be part of the rest of your life. The awareness shows you how to connect the dots. That's enough. That's life pretty much. So, you cannot hold on to your belief and breathe free at the same time. You cannot see your true nature until you work on the mind, reversing the mind to go to no mind. Okay. Again, consciousness is only the true aspect in you, the unchanging nature in you. To recognize that, to actualize your consciousness, is by reversing the mind. So reverse the mind, my friend. If you're truly seeking true freedom, not the momentary freedom, true freedom, then you must reverse the mind. Okay? I hope this video makes sense to you. Thanks for watching this video. And yeah, Happy New Year, guys. Hope things are okay in your life. If you're alive, that is good enough. And from there, things can go right again. You can make things better. And enlightenment is the only journey that will make you not suffer. So that's that, guys. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Take care for now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.